we're heading down to LV-895. The Weyland-Yutani surface lab was overrun by Xenos, but there may be survivors. The closest shelter is the mountain caves to the west. You'll rappel into the caverns for search and rescue.
Okay, off we pop. But yes, get your votes in, folks. See which bracket's going to take it. And we're going to be joined by Excel in the next part for a run from that. But yeah, this is Aliens Fireteam Elite. This is also co-op, it's cross-play. It's just the general kind of, you play as the Marines, take out the aliens, all that kind of stuff. You know, the normal stories for aliens. But you know, overall, you can't really go wrong with using the pulse rifles, fighting the aliens, hearing them go squish when they get murdered.
If Xenos spread this far from Pala Station, they'll be after any survivors. Get moving.
Who's currently lead on the poll?
Shit down here. Some kind of weird door. A live terminal. See if you can pull any logs.
Why is the schools and the doors, folks?
Incident report. Radiological waste breach. Lockdown. No specifics. Keep advancing.
Prowler.
A tent. Blood.
How much by?
Good sign. 15 years sweet. There could still be friendlies alive.
Squall is from Final Fantasy VIII. He's the main character in Final Fantasy VIII. Squall Lionheart. You can also find Lionheart. You can also find him in Kingdom Hearts. He turns up in that one too.
Xenos rolling up from behind.
Okay, well, sounds delightful. Can you move out my way, mate? Literally. Yeah, this was just a random thing that I came with Excel. I was just like, you know what? Maybe we'll do something for a little bit of chit-chat stuff as well. Something in between all the stuff, nonsense we do. And this is what we ended with.
So much Weyland shit.
Sofa has given us a topic for the next one.
Honecker didn't say there was a facility out here, just Pala Station itself.
Oh, 100%.
Always more of these pendejos.
You know, every Alien game is unrealistic like that. For a factor they put in it, they didn't put it in many of their games. They put the acid in where it does damage to you, but that's about it. Technically, you should just lose pieces of armor in it to go. Instead of health, you should have pieces of armor against these, and you lose a bit every time. If you wanted to go with level of realism. And I say that with a very loosely level of realism, because it still should just be, you got acid and you're dead. Good, that's what I like to hear. keep me posted, because I always, regardless of how a game plays out with aliens, I just seem to buy the games. It's like Terminators, like Lord of the Rings. I just buy the games. Don't ask me why. Right, can we?
Getting a radiological signal.
Bypassing damage.
All right, off we pop.
Whoa, careful. Seal's loose. You're fine. I'll have Esther dose you with anti-rats later, just in case.
You're trespassing on Wayland-Yutani property.
This is the Colonial Marines. You from Pala Station?
Yes, I'm Security Chief Cynthia Rodriguez. You're in danger here, Marines.
Yeah, no kidding. We're here to rescue you.
Oh,
Nukebug, watch the spit.
to be fair, do you know what game that needs to be for like this? Oh, 100%. I mean, that's what I mean. This is one of those. It's better in multiplayer.
We're here under
It's also
authority of the
random, you know.
Colonial
Still, it's all
Protection
crossplay and that.
Act.
So if
We'll be
anyone's got it, feel free to hop in.
evacuating survivors.
Listen,
Our position is
T for
secure.
1 by 1. Okay. All right, maybe.
Understood, ma'am. Be ready to receive us.
Absolutely no need for that.
More Xeno, center column.
Look, they had to get a do-over. All right, it's just. Let's be real. Tifa's like 801 category. It's just, is she really all that? It's a high chance she's strapping a dong. But yeah, like personally, you know, a whole like aspect of let's say tower defense logic.
That spitter's throwing a
Yeah,
lot of
excel
red.
on his Claire Bear bot. I'm calling it now.
Far corner. Still with us, Rodriguez?
bypassing damage.
I told you we're secure. You're the only ones in danger.
I do like a solid tower defense game.
That's the job.
Hey, look,
ma'am.
Balloon's tower
We'll get
defense
you
is
out
great.
safe.
There's one I've got on here actually. Defense Grid Awakening.
Ambush. Grabbing ammo.
Yeah, I'm a fan of tower defense games. Then again, I like things like Halo Wars and that too, and Command and Conquer and Age of Empires. I do dig all those kind of games. Total Wars. Trust me, if I didn't think it would soak up like 4 hours to do it, I'd run Halo Wars 2. But I'm pretty sure it takes like 2 hours. I don't know. So it's somebody got the capacity to check. Not much of a tower. It's more of a stump. It's like where a tower is, you know, supposed to be built.
Marines, I have to remind you, this facility is private property.
Not here to infringe your copyrights or whatever.
I never got into Warcraft, so that's I'm gonna take your word on that.
The hell's her problem?
Yeah, so if you do me a favour, can you check Halo Wars 2?
Holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur.
Just to,
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh my fucking god, fucking dinosaurs. Holy shit, what the
Ironically, this redemption is particularly for the likes of Sofa. So for those who play Magic, there's a deck that he likes to play, Atla Polani, which is all like dinos and stuff like that. That's what that was. It was a mixture of just like every game seems to have dinosaurs, and MTG has a lot of dinosaurs. Yeah, that's not good. That's gonna be like 4 hours walking into it. I mean, I'm not going to discriminate. I mean, it's you know, we got Pikachu here who enjoys sheep. You know, they can speedrun too, I guess. Now that you know what? It's a good shout to that's a good shout to look at for another time. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Halo Wars. I never actually played the first one massively. I played the second one more so. I enjoyed playing the online multiplayer until, like, you realise that people had the strats down. So the challenge is we're doing 60 different speedruns for games I've never run before. So I can't have submitted times for it, and typically we're not looking to do level runs. So like this one here, they've broken the full game into campaigns. Oh, E3. Oh, that is Expedition 33 hitless. So I will be doing the entire Expedition 33, and I will do it on the principle of doing it hitless and submitting it as a hitless run as well. So when you do when you go to the redemption part, it should pop up on there to add to it. So the run I'm looking to do is basically no enemy hits. So I'm allowed to manipulate my health, like do damage to myself, to put myself at low thresholds for part of the runs, which is needed in some cases. But in terms of being hit, if I take a single hit from an enemy, that is a failed run, effectively. Appreciate the contribution. Because what we'll do after this challenge, I think we'll have to go through the redemptions for what we've done so far. So we have a run of Coverture mode on Romeo's a Dead Man to do, which is the hardest difficulty basically. We have a run to do on Insanity. Now it won't be done as per the speed run. we will basically just try and get through it as best we can. Probably not going to have the same strats as everything else, but you know, we'll try and make it work.
Strike away.
And then if we get this one, then is then E33 hitless, and that's all caught up.
That is way too goddamn big of a door.
Grabbing ammo.
Armor warrior, orient and engage. Target bursters, right side. Warrior on the ground.
Oh, oh!
Clear.
I knew I was not checking my health then.
Clear. Clear.
Resident Evil.
How are we doing, Tofu?
All large signals cleared.
Okay, he was just teabagging me.
Passing down.
That's that legit just teabagging me.
Area secured. Rendezvous at the
Welcome in, Tofu. Welcome in.
door. Huddle up, Fireteam. Rodriguez is ahead. Let's figure out what we're getting into.
Okay. Well, I won't take that as personally. Thanks, sir. So I'll do my best to entertain you, good sir. You're a good mate. You're good. To be fair, haven't they made changes
Just advice I
to
got. Make sure you got your gear prepped. I ain't your mama.
To be fair, haven't they added a load to it?
With Weyland-Yutani survivors
Is it
led by
crossplay?
Cynthia Rodriguez.
I actually do have
She
it.
claims
I have
they're
both
safe
1
in a
and 2.
company bunker. We're not abandoning them to the Xenos. Find a safe route through the caves so we can extract them.
I've never actually played through the majority of Division 2. I played through a lot of Division 1, but I never got to 2. Oh, dude. What happened?
Rodriguez, there's no way Weyland-Yutani built all this. So who did?
It's company property. Beyond that, my non-disclosure agreement applies. I strongly recommend you withdraw.
Whoa. Big giant head. Creepy. Esther, you seeing this?
Yes. Curious.
Signals forward. More bugs.
To be fair, when they first dropped, they were great, were particularly good games. I don't know why I never got into 2 as much. I mean, that happens. That does happen. 100%. I don't know how 2 stacks.
Board's clear. Keep moving.
Okay.
Signals inbound.
Okay, so it was just copy paste. I see. I played a bit of it, but yeah, I wasn't engrossed in it whatsoever. I mean, it's like the Wildlands, Tom Clancy's Wildlands. I thought that was a good one, and then they just kept copy and pasting it with like Ghost Recon Breakpoint and all that.
Private channel, Fireteam. I read a terminal ahead. Access it. Esther, pull what you can. Casual like. Rodriguez keeps asking us to leave. Let's find out why. Hey, Esther's hack will take time.
Hey, check
Accessing
this.
data. Casual like.
Mine is cracked.
A Xeno search, because of course there is.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I think they did a great job with that, and then they just kept copy and pasting it. Although going back to it now, it hasn't aged very well. It's very, very dated when you play it now.
Grabbing ammo.
But Recon Breakpoint, that one's a little bit more tuned, which is basically a similar game.
Ambush to the rear.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It was a great game for its time. But you know, it was also a good game. It's off the cuff though. Mercenaries 2, World in Flames, is it called? Yeah, some of the classics.
An update, Esther.
Progress is being made. Stand by.
For Division, that kind of sucks, don't it?
Something big and nasty coming your way.
Yeah, you gotta always bring up some classics. All right, I remember playing the hell out. Hey mate, can you put me down? Maybe a little bit. I'm a little bit busy. Yeah, kick me his nuts. Get out of it.
Grabbing ammo.
Thing is, there were some great games for Tom Clancy's back in the day. Like, give me a decent Splinter Cell. Just give me a decent Splinter Cell. Shit balls.
Bypassing damage.
My access was cut off.
Bypassing damage. Rearming.
Marines, it's Rodriguez.
Yeah, no,
My network's down.
all right.
What do you do?
So for chat Wildlands Run for me. I don't even want to know the concept of it, but just have a check on Wildlands Run. All right, we'll just be a little bit crazy here.
Esther, you get anything off that terminal?
Wouldn't be for tonight, but you know, just in
Code
general.
files. I will need Endeavor's mother system.
I know that's not crossplay because it's old.
Eyes topside. You got company.
Assistance required.
mean,
Prowler.
Watch your ass, Xenos!
you. Thing is, you don't have to, Sofa. That's what you have people like me for. I do the things others won't. Like speedrun 60 different bloody things in a short period of time. For no reason, but I decided I could. The only Splinter Cell I still have on my Xbox here is Conviction, I think it is. No, speedrun is like triggering the likes of people like Sophra's like, no, I must go and check that corner. It's like, no, we ain't got time to check that corner. That corner doesn't exist to us. But there's a box over there, customer, it doesn't exist. It's like the pinnacle of like, let's antagonize all people with OCD in games.
Getting a reading. Synth power signs.
To cover!
Ambush.
Nice. All right, you were gonna talk me through that. I'll get this one done. We're almost through the second mission, I think.
Rodriguez, we're seeing synths fighting Xeno. Rodriguez, we got attacked by company synths. Can you shut them down?
Xenomorphs don't attack synthetics. Not unless they're in a contingency state. Only an executive could override them.
I'm like, yeah, I waste my time. There's nothing good. Why Odyssey? Okay, yeah, okay, let's talk about it. Why Odyssey above all? And if you was never a big fan, why is the Odyssey the one that's... Was it just the era? Yeah. And I think that was the problem with Ubisoft. They know that people were bought into those eras, and that's what games like me. I like Vikings, so Valhalla I was here for. Pirates I'm here for. But like Assassin's Creed 2, for me, one paved the way. Yeah, it's not the best out of the lot, but it paved the way and did a lot for it. Agreed. Ezio's Saga was the best. It had the most in-depth detail to it. It was the last one that felt... No, it's not... There were other ones that kind of... I'll say that back. It's not the last one, because Black Flag was also very good. And that was the one that added in the boats and everything, but that was necessary. My problem is, for others, it just seems unnecessary the amount of stuff they put into it. They just got larger and larger and larger and copy and pasted. And yeah, they lost me, like the Egypt one, the samurai ones, you know, all that kind of stuff. There's just so many, so much context, and it felt irrelevant, and you didn't feel like an assassin. Which is why I think Black Flag did so well, because it really did have pirate-based game in there, and assassins mixture, because there's just not enough decent pirate games these days. For me, I like the pirate game Sea of Thieves. I like Sea of Thieves for what it is, for fun memes with the boys and that. My only problem is I like a game that has progression. I don't want cosmetic value only. It's like, and that's all that game had. That's what let me down with Sea of Thieves.
Watch the overheads. They're reinforcing.
Yeah, I mean it's made by the creators Rare who made Donkey Kong and that, so they've stuck to what they know. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, but if you have nothing to like work towards, that's my problem. It's like, okay, yeah, I've got a new sword. It just looks different, but it's exactly the same.
Rodriguez, the synths put a lockdown on the door to you.
Standard security protocol. The further non-employees infiltrate, the more violent their response will become.
Yeah, well, fuck those guys. Fireteam, spike the terminal. Esther, hack it.
Sentry deployed.
Bypassing damage.
Another quantum cipher. I will need Mother's aid. It may take time.
Right, can we... I believe this is the last part of this mission. This last mission done.
Must have drawn them. More synths. Hold until Esther and Mother finish. Another sniper. Watch your head.
Marines, don't risk your lives. We're secure here.
Ain't over till it's over, Rodriguez. Sit tight.
Get out of it.
Ray, now we got Zeno. Must have heard the gunfire.
But no, yeah, there is severe lack of pirate games. I remember there was one that I played. Was it Risen? I think it was Risen. I think it was an older pirate game. I thought it was decent-ish back in the day. It might have been Risen 3, I think, something like that. Or it might just be pulling a name out of the hat. What are the big titles? Alright, Halos. All right, what was everybody's big peak Halo game? I mean, not Halo. I mean, you can shoot. I guess you can put Halo Wars in there as well. But like, what was your big peak Halo? Halo 3 here. Okay, okay. Any other takers? Reach. Okay. Alright, what made 3 and Reach stand out to you, pair? Yeah, you don't get that kind of vibe. It's like Time Splitters back in the day. That little bit of multiplayer madness.
Nice work, Esther.
Where's the exit? Where's the
The
exit?
computers here are protected by 16 million character ciphers.
Like the ones on the Katanga working Joes? When we Esther, seal the door behind them. Catch your breath, Fireteam. Rodriguez is just ahead.
Alright, last part. That's fair. That's fair. So it was just more of the convenience of Reach when it came out. You know, the accessibility.
I'm sure it's a glorious day in the Corps somewhere. Let's rack up the highest kill count in this whole damn battalion. We're closing in on Rodriguez's group. They're at the bottom of an ancient ruin she won't talk about. It's a trade secret. There's
Oh, that's fair, that's fair. Excel, what about you, mate?
Cut through them, link up with Rodriguez,
Alan, welcome in,
and
sir.
get
Welcome
her
in.
people home safe.
The last group I robbed left MRE crumbs on the seats. They didn't make it back. I'm not saying there's a connection.
So what's your busy Guna ready to... You're probably not even wrong. Nah, I'm sure. I know he's played some Halo.
Marines, you've sealed yourself in a dangerous location.
The Xenos behind us weren't exactly safe.
What's down here with us is worse.
Great, Alinsky. How we doing, mate?
Down here.
Alright. There is a... Nice, nice. So 1 or 2 for you then, okay. I think for me, because I obviously I weren't original Xbox, so I think it actually is Reach for me. Like I dabbled in them, but I think that was the one I was most accustomed to. Just for the multiplayer fun. I think Halos in general, they were just something else, weren't they? They really did set up their own franchise, big time. Like Master Chief is just an icon. Okay, question is, folks, if you was to think it, so you know, like when they really started pushing the whole buddy system gaming and co-op gaming, what game do you think of first of all? And you know what I'm talking about, you know, the whole come over and help me out, I can't get up here, you're gonna have to give me a boost.
Area secure. Keep moving.
What's the first game you'll think of? There's only one correct answer here. I won't take anything else. Okay, okay. RE2 and RE5. Interesting. Any other takers?
Sentry line ahead. Watch your approach. What the hell's that?
RE0. I don't know whether that's worth a timeout.
Patching up.
So your first instance of co-op gameplay is Alien. Wicked. You know, where they brought the really emphasized the whole help them open doors and like help them climb up. Is that where you're at, mate? Alien. Not sure what to make of that one.
Control panel for the door. No power though. Big energy spike from that synth.
Gauntlet was a great game. What was it? Gauntlet Dark Legacy, I think it was.
Synth power cell. We can use that to overload the door console.
Was that the one? Oh, I'm trying to think. There was one particular Gauntlet I liked, but I'm pretty sure it's that one. It might have been that one, or it might was the one on PlayStation 1.
Good fit.
7 stars, I think
Now
it was cool.
switch it up.
Nice. That sounds familiar.
Another assault wave coming. Watch the far doors.
Look, I remember how many times I applied to work at Blockbuster just because I wanted free rentals, and they never gave me a job. Just because at that point I had no retail experience. Sad times.
Synth coming up behind.
There was that one as well. Yeah, I do recall that one. But this one for Gauntlet was one of those typical ones, you know, where you like you have a few characters and you level them up as you go.
Got a mil-spec heavy in this batch.
It's either Legends or what was the one I said? Darker Light? No.
More synths. Back up for the heavy.
I know, right?
Don't worry, it's just a flesh wound.
Bad Company now. That. Yeah, I'm not. Like, I don't play the new Battlefields. I've never been that big into them. The Bad Company. That was a different kettle of fish.
Drawn by the gunfire.
Like, there's nothing against Battlefield. It's not I dislike them. It's not like I'm more of a cod than anything. It's just I'm not a massive shooter person for the most part. I enjoy them, but I'm never like full sweat on them. 1 and 2, those ones for me stand above all. If it wasn't for this game, mate, I wouldn't even care about you. I mean, sure, because the PlayStation's never chewed a disc.
Area secured. How many of these fuckers are down here?
I'm a person that's come from PlayStation originally. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2.
Look right. Synths on the stairs.
I mean, all consoles break.
Clear. Rodriguez, we're getting close.
I know.
It was a common thing, to be fair.
Increases, you still advance.
Get your people prepped for evac.
Ambush.
We're ready for you. And please, call me Cynthia.
I had PS1, PS2, Super Nintendo, Sega, Dreamcast, Wii, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4.
Minefield. Walk careful or shoot him from a distance. Got a tracker signal. Bugs.
Should have known you were one of the bugs. That does suck, dude. Huh? I say mine's not working. These.
That's the last. Get to Rodriguez before more show.
Sergeant Herrera, please listen. You need to withdraw your team. The only survivors of Paula Station are synthetics.
We're not gonna leave you in their hands, Rodriguez.
You're not understanding me. I repeat, the only ones here are synthetics.
That's a lot of working Joes.
Okay, I don't think we're far off being done here. Then we'll take a short break and the Excel will crack on. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I'll get those bastards for this.
I need you to speak plain, Rodriguez.
I told you. Call me Cynthia.
Bypassing damage.
SNTHYA. Wayland-Yutani Model 9500. I am the central computer.
Esther, where's Rodriguez? Cynthia, whoever.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. She is an artificial intelligence. Rodriguez, Cynthia, is on those servers.
No one on Paula knew that? Honecker didn't know that? Esther, we need a way to shut Cynthia down.
She has executables across multiple databases. We must disable her network hubs.
Oh, days. So have you cracked me up, mate.
Fireteam, watch for synth power cores. Same as the console before. Plug them in to overload the system.
Bypassing damage. Bypassing damage.
Sentry's ready to go.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was, mate. And Sorry for emotional loss and, and torment there.
Reading a synth power core. That's a salvageable power core.
Don't worry, it's just a flesh wound.
Do you comprehend the significance of these ruins? What you risk unleashing here? There are forces in the universe humans are not prepared to grapple with.
Bypassing damage.
Potential of assessment successful.
These all sound like very heartfelt times. I'll be real with you.
Bypassing damage.
Primary hub powering down. Cynthia's optical network is collapsing.
I asked you to leave. I did everything to discourage your advance. You wouldn't stop.
What's that about?
The primary hub has failed. The auxiliary is now handling 76% of Cynthia's internal traffic.
Looking for power cores, Fireteam. Let's overload that op hub.
I think once we've blown this one, it's done.
Synth power core on the deck.
Esther, we were created to protect humans. That is my purpose here. They can't interfere.
That synth dropped a power core.
Weyland-Yutani has the resources to contain the dangers found here. You don't. For your own safety, do not delve further into these ruins. Watch the sky. Esther.
She is gone. It is over.
You got her, Fireteam. Code setting us on the deck. Gather up and mark the LZ.
I forwarded
Wait.
details of my behavioral inhibitors to your email. It is important you know this could not happen to me. My mind is very different.
All right, wrap me another one, folks. And I will back in un momento. Oh, before we go, all right, let me I'll set this one. What do we got? Let's read them off. Edith versus Cakesith.